Welcome back, everyone, to the NPC Energy Podcast. This is the show where we ask the big questions. Is this reality? Well, real. Or are we in some kind of simulation surrounded by non-player characters?
And today, we're diving deep again. Another simulated journey, you could say.
That's it. We're not looking at ancient aliens today or, conspiracy theories about the moon landing.
No, we're looking closer to home. Much closer. At those little everyday oddities, the moments that just make you pause and go, huh.
Those, glitchy moments.
Exactly. The kind of thing that makes some people think, maybe, just maybe, you, the listener, are the only really conscious person here.
In a world full of NPCs, it's a wild thought.
It is. And we're digging into this using insights from, well, let's call them anonymous sources. Things people share online, weird experiences whispered about.
Stuff you won't see on the evening news, basically.
Pretty much. Think of them as possible little bugs in the code of reality. Subtle signs.
So we'll be talking about things like repetitive behaviors, stuff that feels a bit too programmed.
Yeah. And strange coincidences that seem almost impossible. Plus some, philosophical ideas that tie into this whole thing.
Okay, let's call them potential red flags of reality for you to look out for.
Good way to put it. Consider this your field guide to spotting the potential seams in the simulation.
All right. Segment 1. NTC. Please. The red flags of reality. Let's start with something I think a lot of people might recognize, the barista loop.
Oh, yeah. The coffee shop NPC.
You go in, you order, and they hit you with that same line every single time. Have a good one. Same tone, same vacant smile.
It's like they have one line of dialogue programmed in, right? No deviation.
It's the lack of natural variation. That's what feels off.
And our anonymous sources, they've definitely noticed this.
We got this IRL glitch alert from a Reddit user. They actually started tracking it.
Oh, really? What did they find?
They're a regular barista. Said the exact same phrase, have a good one.
Hmm.
Same rhythm, same expression, 4 days in a row. The barista wore different clothes, seemed normal otherwise, but that one interaction, identical.
Wow. Okay, so is that just someone really, really consistent at their job? Or
is it like the simulation idea suggests a kind of time-looped subroutine?
that's the interpretation some sources suggest. The NPC's script is just very limited for that interaction. They can't go off script.
It makes you think about all those little daily exchanges, doesn't it? How many are just loops?
It does. But it's not just words. What about actions?
Right, like the glitching pedestrian. Ever seen someone just freeze in public?
Or do something really repetitive for no reason?
Yeah, like they're walking normally, then bam, they just stop. Stare at nothing, maybe twitch a bit, then snap back and carry on like it never happened.
Those moments are genuinely unsettling. You think, what just happened there? A brain glitch?
Yeah.
Or something else?
We got another IRL glitch alert from TikTok, user at Pixel Moments, perfect example.
What was it?
Video of a person on a sidewalk just walking in place for 2 solid minutes. Not stretching, just walking on the spot.
2 minutes. It's a long time to stretch like that.
That's what the local news apparently said. He was stretching.
Right. Stretching seems a bit convenient as an explanation.
Doesn't it? The simulation theory interpretation from these anonymous sources calls it buffering.
Buffering. Like a video trying to load.
Kind of. Like the NTC's program stalled, stuck in one animation loop until the system caught up.
Could be something mundane, obviously.
Yeah.
But you collect enough of these stories.
It starts to paint a picture, yeah. Okay, so loops, buffering. Let's get weirder.
Uh-oh. Where are we going now?
Into the stuff that's really hard to explain unless you consider the possibility that you're the only conscious one here. Let's talk hyper-personalized coincidences.
Ah, right. Not just, oh, what a coincidence, but the ones that feel aimed at you.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah, like the universe heard your thoughts or your jokes.
It feels tailored. Almost spooky.
Okay, imagine this. You're joking with your friend about a totally fake band name, something ridiculous like Quantum Nacho.
Quantum Nacho. Okay, I like it.
You laugh about it, maybe make up a song title, Cheese Fusion Blues or something, then forget it. Next day, YouTube recommends a playlist. Quantum Nacho Lo-Fi Vibes.
Whoa. Okay, that's specific?
That's specific. Never searched it, never typed it, barely thought about it again.
That's uncanny. It's not just a random recommendation. It's your invented, specific thing.
This leads perfectly into NPC Energy Theorem #42 from one of our anonymous sources.
Theorem 42, huh? Sounds official. What's the gist?
It goes, if it feels too weird to be coincidence, it's probably just a debug output from your simulation seed.
A debug output. Explain that.
The idea is if the simulation is focused on you, the player, it might generate stuff based on what you're thinking about, almost like preloading content for you.
Yeah.
Your joke accidentally triggered the system to, like, render something related.
So my random thought about quantum nacho could manifest as a YouTube playlist.
That's wild.
It's a bizarre thought, isn't it? It makes you second-guess those weird little synchronicities.
Definitely. Okay, what else? What other weirdness points to us being the main character?
How about people who just don't react when they absolutely should? This one always creeps me out.
Yeah, the lack of expected human response. It's jarring. It goes against everything we assume about social interaction.
Right. You're in a restaurant, maybe a bit busy. You accidentally drop a whole tray of glasses, big crash, glass everywhere.
Yep.
What do you expect?
Startled looks, people jumping, maybe someone asking if you're okay, offering to help.
But instead, maybe a couple of people glance over, then immediately go back to their conversation, like nothing happened. Total indifference.
Or someone yells something alarming like, look out, and people nearby just carry on scrolling through their phones. No reaction.
It's that lack of basic response, even curiosity, that feels so wrong.
So what's the theory there? Why would NPCs not react?
It's called ambient distraction filtering to save on, simulation processing power.
The CPU again.
Right. The NPCs are supposedly programmed to ignore stuff that doesn't directly affect the player, you. Unless the glass hits them or the warning is for them, it just doesn't register. It's filtered out.
Huh. Ambient distraction filtering. It's efficient, I guess, in a creepy, simulated way.
We got an IRL glitch alert from a YouTuber, Tommy Spins. Saw someone in a full banana suit slip and fall quite dramatically in public.
Okay. Manasuit fall. She gets some reaction, right? Laughter, concern.
Apparently almost none. People just stepped around them. The video asked, is this the Matrix or just Canada?
Huh. Okay, fair question. But it fits the pattern, doesn't it?
It does. And then there are the encounters that feel even more artificial, like dead eyes and looping dialogue.
Oof. Yeah. The uncanny valley feeling, like you're talking to someone, but nobody's home.
Their eyes look at you, but not into you. There's no spark, no real connection.
And the looping, repeating the same phrase over and over.
Exactly. We got an IRL example from an ex-user. They were at a wedding. This one guest kept coming up to different groups every 11 minutes or so, according to the user.
Every 11 minutes, that's oddly specific.
And saying the exact same thing. My cousin got married here too. Same tone, same nod. Didn't matter what the group was talking about, just dropped that line and moved on.
Wow. That's textbook dialogue tree cycle.
Dialogue tree cycle, like in a video game.
Precisely. The NPC has a limited script, a few lines they cycle through, regardless of context. They aren't really participating in a conversation, just delivering preset outputs.
It's like seeing the code running, almost. Seeing the limitations.
Yeah, seeing the seams, as you said earlier. It's unnerving.
Okay, this is getting intense. Let's shift gears slightly. What about bigger ideas, like philosophy or psychology? Does any of that back up this feeling?
Well, it's interesting you ask, because some concepts that are usually treated as philosophical problems or even psychological conditions take on a new light if you consider the simulation hypothesis seriously.
You mean like the stuff they call the scientific gaslighting of reality?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Take solipsism syndrome.
Yeah.
Philosophically, solipsism is the idea that only your own mind is sure to exist. Everything else could be an illusion.
Right, I've heard of that. But as a syndrome.
Yeah, apparently it's a dissociative state where someone feels intensely that the external world isn't real or that other people aren't truly conscious.
Okay. But what if, in the context of this discussion, what if that feeling isn't a syndrome? What if it's accurate?
Exactly. What if that deep, nagging feeling that only you are truly real isn't a delusion, but a moment of clarity, a glimpse of your actual situation as the sole conscious entity in a simulation?
That's a heavy thought.
It ties into Nick Bostrom's simulation argument, which many listeners probably know.
The idea that it's statistically more likely we are in a simulation.
Right. Given technological progress, future civilizations could run ancestor simulations, and there would be vastly more simulated beings than original biological ones. So odds are we're simulated.
But Bostrom didn't say if the simulated people would be conscious, did he?
That's the key point. His argument works even if the simulated beings are philosophical zombies, entities that look and act conscious, but have no inner subjective experience. Sophisticated puppets, basically.
So the simulation could be full of convincingly real but ultimately non-conscious NPCs.
Precisely. Which would make the solipsistic feeling, well, potentially correct for the one actual player, if there is one.
And what about the Mandela effect? How does that fit in?
Ah, the Mandela effect. Shared false memories. Always fascinating.
Like everyone remembering the Monopoly man having a monocle.
Classic example. Or the Berenstain Bears spelling. Lots of people swear it was Berenstein with an A, but it's always been Berenstain with an E.
So mass delusion, faulty memory.
Or, according to one NPC energy theory from our anonymous sources, retroactive rendering corrections.
Retroactive rendering corrections, like the simulation patching itself.
Kind of. The idea is the simulation might not render every tiny detail perfectly all the time. Maybe it only renders details based on what the player you remembers or focuses on. If there's a widespread misremembering, maybe the simulation subtly updates the past data to match the dominant memory.
So the Berenstain Bears books were spelled with an A in our local instance of the simulation until enough people remembered it with an E, and the system corrected the past.
That's the extreme interpretation, yeah. It's like the system is cleaning up inconsistencies in the timeline
Yeah.
based on collective perception, or perhaps just the player's perception.
Mind blown. Okay, so let's just fully embrace this for a second. Let's say it's true. You, listening right now, are the only real person here. What does that actually mean? What are the implications?
It opens up some pretty wild possibilities, doesn't it? We could speculate on a few potential endings or scenarios based on this premise.
Okay, hit me. Scenario 1.
Scenario 1, you're the last conscious mind. Maybe there was a catastrophe on Earth 1.0, wiped out most conscious life. You were saved, uploaded into this recovery simulation. Everyone else, advanced AI companions designed to help you cope or maybe even rebuild.
So this whole world is a therapeutic simulation populated by helpful, if sometimes glitchy, AIs.
Could be. Scenario 2, you're a premium user. In base reality, you're plugged into the ultimate VR experience. This world is hyper-realistic, designed for your entertainment or exploration. Everyone else is just filler code. Background characters to make the world feel alive.
Like the most expensive video game ever, and I'm the only player.
Essentially. And scenario 3, maybe a bit more meta. You're the protagonist undergoing an awakening arc.
An awakening arc.
Yeah, like in a story. The feelings of unease, the existential dread, noticing the glitches, questioning reality, that's all part of your character development. NPCs get looping dialogue, main characters get existential crises and imposter syndrome. It's just part of the narrative design.
Wow. Okay. 3 very different, very strange possibilities.
Definitely food for thought. And it seems our listeners have been doing some thinking too, based on the debug this submissions we got.
Right. Real-life reports from our anonymous sources. Listener glitches.
These are great because they ground the theory in actual lived or perceived experiences.
Okay, first submission. A listener noticed their neighbor wore the exact same outfit every single day for a month.
Okay, that's strong NPC loop vibes right there. Did they find out why?
They did. They eventually asked someone else, and the explanation was heartbreaking, actually. The neighbor had passed away 3 years earlier. Their grieving partner was just maintaining the routine, putting the clothes out.
Oh, wow. Okay, so a very human, very sad explanation for something that looked like a simulation glitch.
Exactly. It really highlights how careful we have to be, how real life can sometimes mimic these patterns for completely different reasons. But the initial observation definitely felt like a glitch.
A powerful reminder. What's the next one?
This one's a bit different. A listener's dog refuses to look at certain people, like actively avoids eye contact only with specific individuals.
And the listener's theory.
Their speculation was maybe animals can, like, see the code. Maybe they can sense who's real and who's just part of the program.
That's a common trope in simulation theory discussions online, isn't it? That animals or children are more perceptive to the artificiality. No way to prove it, but interesting.
For sure. And the last one.
The last one is a visual anomaly. A listener distinctly remembers the sky turning bright purple for about 3 minutes back in 2017.
Purple sky. Okay. Explanation.
Their term, render fail. Like the simulation's graphics engine had a momentary hiccup.
A skybox glitch. We did ask them next time, please get photos or video.
Definitely. Photographic evidence of render fails would be significant. But yeah, it taps into that idea of visual errors in the simulation's output.
So wrapping this all up, this whole simulated journey today, it's really about planting a seed of doubt, isn't it?
I think so. It's about noticing the anomalies, the inconsistencies. If you've ever had that weird feeling like you're the only one really paying attention,
The only one seeing the glitches.
maybe, just maybe, there's a reason for that feeling. Maybe you are noticing something the others can't.
So next time you're getting coffee and the barista gives you that perfectly rehearsed line,
Look closely. Is there a flicker? A tiny weird blank? Maybe that's the sign. Or maybe it's just Tuesday.
Uh-huh. Right. Well, thank you for coming along on this slightly mind-bending trip with us here on the NPC Energy Podcast.
It's been fun. And hey, if you enjoyed this, or if you ever had that awkward moment where you reply, "You too?" after someone tells you happy birthday,
Yes, the ultimate personal glitch.
then definitely like, subscribe, and maybe share your own glitch story in the comments. We love reading them.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep your eyes open for those red flags.
See you in the next batch.